The third episode of Hawkeye just came out and quite a bit happened in it. We have a lot to talk about, so let's get right into it. Let's get the most important stuff out of the way. Wilson Fisk is on the way, and I love the way they're building up towards his arrival. They first showed him during young Echo's flashbacks, but we didn't see his face. He looks absolutely humongous though. There has been rumors that they're using a fat suit to make him look bigger than he did in the Netflix show, and they might be true. We already knew he would be in the show, and allegedly it's supposed to be in episode 4, so it did surprise me when we got so much Kingpin related stuff in this episode. We got his laugh, his hand, and multiple other references to him throughout the 40 minutes. I also like how he's already established as an extremely dangerous criminal force in the MCU. I have no clue how much they'll keep from the Daredevil show, but to be honest, it looks like it won't be much. Fisk in the show became popular as a businessman / politician and is known far and wide for being corrupt and going to prison. Yet, when Kate asks who is above Echo, Clint avoids saying his name and is really mysterious about who he is. There would be no need for that if all the same events from Daredevil took place in the MCU. My prediction is that all the characters from Daredevil will come back, but the events of the show won't be canon to the MCU. It's unfortunate, but I really don't see a way that they can properly incorporate everything without causing a lot of confusion. Now, even though I am excited for Kingpin's first MCU appearance, I do already have some issues with a few changes made from the comics, and those issues relate to the main character of this episode, Echo. Some of you already know her comic backstory. If you don't, I made a video explaining all of it, so go check it out. The most important part of her backstory is when Kingpin shoots her father. Her father had tried to rebel against him, and Kingpin got rid of him. He later tells Echo that Daredevil did it, and it leads to them fighting, but you can find all that in the video. The point is, here in the MCU, Kingpin doesn't appear to be involved in the death of her father at all. Instead, it was just Clint as Ronin who killed him. Now, I don't want to jump to conclusions because there's still a chance that there could be something more behind this. Maybe Kingpin leaked the location of her father to Ronin on purpose, knowing Clint would get rid of him. Maybe it was all a setup and the Ronin who Echo saw was someone else in the suit. Sound familiar? Yeah, it really does. There's still plenty of possibilities, but for now, it appears that Kingpin didn't kill him. If that was the case, I don't really like that. Finding out that Fisk murdered her father was the whole reason she turned against him. It also plays a big part in her character because she trusted him for years, and the discovery of what he did destroyed her and led to her Vision quest later on. Maybe the MCU can work out this change so that their Echo can be just as great of a character as comic Echo. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. They're already doing a good job taking some small things straight from the comics for Echo. When she asked her father, "What sound does the sky make?" I immediately remember the panel where she asked the same thing to her pops. Even though I do feel some type of way about Clint basically replacing Daredevil in his part of Echo's story, I love the fact that they can relate to each other because they both have issues with their hearing. In the comics, Daredevil and Echo connect because they both have one of their senses disabled. Here, we see Echo and Clint already having exchanges about things like hearing aids. Obviously, they won't be romantically involved like Daredevil and Echo, but it's still something. Speaking of hearing aids, they play a huge role in this episode. When Clint's hearing aids get destroyed, we get a lot of hilarious moments where Kate's talking and Clint just can't hear her. It kills me every time Kate says something and then Clint says the same thing a few seconds later. My favorite is probably the dog feeding one when they were sitting on the train. This is the most sign language we've ever seen in a Marvel movie or show by far, and I'm sure deaf and hard of hearing people are happy about that. Clint being hard of hearing isn't treated as a side thing or a non-issue. The main antagonist for now is also deaf and only uses sign language to communicate. It's representation that's been absent forever, and I'm glad it's coming now. The Echo vs. Hawkeye fight was pretty solid. There were a few seconds where Echo was working him, and I got pretty hyped because it looked awesome. My favorite part of the fight was when Hawkeye was falling and he shot through Kate's restraints. Now, the car chase was easily the best fight of the show so far, and it's not that close, to be honest. All the different trick shots we got to see, the complete madness of driving backwards while shooting arrows, Clint not hearing a single word Kate was saying and Echo hawking them down the hallway was the perfect blend of utter chaos. I was highly entertained. I think we can all agree that the best part of the fight was when Kate shot the arrow up and Clint shot the arrow and enlarged it. Shooting an arrow with another arrow from that far is such an insane skill feat. From what I can remember, it's probably Hawkeye's best feat in the MCU so far. With all the focus on Echo, I sort of forgot about Jack and Kate's mom until the end when they went to their house. For those of you who don't know, in the comics, Jack is a villain named Swordsman. I don't remember reading a lot of comics with him in it, but I do remember Moon Knight beating the dog shit out of him during his 2006 run. There has been theories about Kate's mom being Madame Mask, and that's actually not that bad of a thought, to be honest. Between that theory and the theory that someone else was dressed in the Ronin costume when Echo's father was killed, I'd say that one is definitely more likely. Overall, I like this episode quite a bit, although that might change depending on what's revealed about Kingpin and Echo in the future. The show as a whole has been living up to my expectations based on the first 3 episodes, if not exceeded. I do hope we get more Echo action scenes, although they may be saving more of those for her show. Next episode is the one where it's reported that Kingpin will show up, and I'm more than ready. I'm interested about this fast suit and CGI stuff I'm hearing. I hope he looks good. It's not really necessary. I think he looks fine in the Daredevil show, but I guess they want him to look huge. Whether he's 400 pounds or 700, I'm just glad the King is back in live action Marvel. Thanks for watching. I hope you liked the video. Make sure to like, subscribe, and all that. Leave a comment, let me know what you think of episode 3. New video coming soon. For now, see you next time.